Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope y'all are having an awesome day today. I'm really excited to have y'all on the call today, whoever's going to be joining us, where we're going to be starting a brand new series around offer creation. So I know a lot of you guys are struggling to come up with your offer, so I wanted to do some training to help you to kind of get past that hurdle. Okay, so today's training, we're going to be talking about the number one secret that's going to help you to create offers that are so damn good, your prospects are going to have real problems saying no to your offer. Okay, so let's jump into, before we jump in, if you're watching us live, be sure to comment below and tell me live. We're going live inside the High Ticket with High Level Facebook group. We're also going live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So make sure and drop a live in the comments below. Let me know which channel you're joining us from. And also, I know there's a lot of people who weren't able to make it live and wanted to see the replay. So if you end up watching this recording later on, make sure and drop a replay in the comments as well, so I know that you actually got to see this, okay? So also, before we get started, there is a link inside of the Facebook group in the comment section where you can actually click on that link and it'll ask you for your Facebook username so I can actually see who's commenting, and that would be awesome, guys, okay? All right, so let's keep going. So who is this for? Before we get started, who is this for? So this training, this series is for coaches, agency owners, course creators who have been paralyzed basically by the fact that they can't really move forward in their businesses because they can't figure out what their offer is. Okay. So sometimes believe me, I've been through this. It feels like banging your head against a wall. Some days you think you got it and you think that you got the 7-figure offer, and then other days you're questioning everything. You're questioning your offer, you're questioning whether you even have the chops to be an entrepreneur. So totally get it. It's a constant struggle with a lot of people that are in this industry, and it really keeps people from moving forward in a significant way because you don't really have an offer that you're confident in promoting or selling. And if you can't convince yourself that it's a great offer, how are you going to convince other people, your potential clients, that it's a great offer? Okay, so you believe me, I've wasted weeks, even months, even years sometimes figuring out offers, and I don't want you to have to struggle through that. So that's all about to end. Over the next series of trainings, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know to create offers that are so valuable, that are packed with so much value, and create value out of thin air so that you never have to worry about the price objection ever again. Okay, so if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you want to get past this struggle of creating your offer, and you need that confidence in your offer before you can move on, then watch this entire series. If you're interested in seeing this series and don't want to miss everything, make sure you drop in the comments below series, and I'll make sure that you are alerted every time we go live on this series, okay? Now, if you're not in the High Ticket with High Level Facebook group, and you're joining us from YouTube or LinkedIn or some of the other channels we might be going live on, and you're interested in joining that group, please drop a group in the comments below, and I'll make sure you get an invite, whatever channel you're in, okay? So in that group, we basically give you a lot of resources, tons of training like this, all around how to fill your calendars with high quality sales calls without spending ads, if you're not ready for that, and then without cold messaging strangers, which we all hate. Okay, so, and we do that by using what I call authority acceleration. So if you're interested in learning how we do that, then be sure and join the group, drop group into the chat, and I'll make sure that you get an invite to the group. All right, so I'm going to grab some water real quick. All right, so we're going to dive in just a second, but I wanted to give you a little background on how I came up with this training series. So as many of you know, I've been in the digital marketing agency niche industry for about 12 years now. In that time, I started my first 6-figure agency in 2010, and I've grown 2 other ones to mid 6 figures since then. And I've done it all through organic strategy. So over that time, I gained a lot of knowledge and skills that I can help people with. Okay, so when I decided to start my coaching program, it became very difficult for me to kind of narrow down on exactly what I wanted to be my offer, problems I wanted to solve for people. So, because I could do so many things, I'm not bragging or anything like that, but it became a huge struggle in my mind figuring out exactly what my offer was going to be. And I can remember plenty of sleepless nights where I would just toss and turn all night long because I had this recorder in my mind just talking about, what should be in that offer. And it was annoying as hell. When I was awake, I was nagged by the feeling that I just wasn't confident in the offer. And I didn't feel like I could sell it because I lacked that confidence. Okay. And that created a lot of self-doubt, a lot of doubt in my offer, a lot of doubt in my business. Okay. So then I just decided, okay, I've got to figure out this offer thing. So I just started devouring all the content I could find out there around offer creation. I looked at people like Alex Hermosi, Russell Brunson, Steve Larson, and Dan Henry. I call them the 4 horsemen of offer creation. So, if you're wanting to get more information, check those guys out. But basically all those guys kind of teach very similar things, but each one of them has a subtle nuance to the way that they approach content or offer creation. So I've taken all that I've learned from those guys, and I've had certain aha moments from each one of them, and I've pieced all that together, compiled all that together in my approach to offer creation, which is what I'm going to be showing you guys over the next few weeks. All right, so before I get into today's training, I'm curious to know, and this is a question for everybody who's watching, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being I'm just getting started, I don't really even know what my niche is, to 10 being my offer is rocking, I'm crushing it, it couldn't be any better. Give me a scale on 1 to 10 on where you guys are at. I'm interested to see where you guys are at with that. Anybody want to volunteer? I'm going to grab some water while y'all drop that in there. All right, everybody's shy today. We'll move on. Okay, so if you're ready to, okay, we got some people. Ryan says 5 to 6. Okay, 5. Okay, let me see. All right, anybody else? Got another 5. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump into the training. I'm going to share my screen here. Got a 7. Nice, Shante. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here, and then we'll jump into today's training, okay? All right, can everybody see my screen? Just say yes if you can see my screen, if you don't mind. All right. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. Sorry, today we're going to be talking about the #1 secret to creating offers that are so good, your prospects feel dumb saying no, okay? So before we jump into any of this, I want to give, again, credit where credit's due. A lot of this stuff is coming from people like Alex Hermosi and his $100 million offer book, which is a great book. Highly suggest that if you have not read it before, go ahead and go buy it. It's worth it. Trust me. And other guys like Russell Brunson, Steve Larson, Dan Henry, all these guys have been of huge influence on what I'm about to show you over the next couple of weeks. So just want to give credit where credit's due. So that's why I wanted to start this training by showing you guys a few key concepts to help change your mindset around offers and how to create value around your offers so price objections disappear, okay? So when I first got started, I had a huge major roadblock in creating a high ticket offer that I felt good about promoting. I had a lot of self-doubt, a lot of lack of confidence in my ability to demand these types of prices. And I thought there was really no way possible I was going to get $3,000, $5,000, and definitely not $10,000 for what I was selling. So the truth is, charging high ticket prices isn't difficult if you can increase the perceived value of your offer enough to where the price to value discrepancy shifts in your favor. So this image right here shows you how price to value discrepancy works. So as long as perceived value outweighs the price that you're offering your offer at, your solution at, there shouldn't be any objections, okay? If you're getting the price objection a lot, your product or service, if they're telling you it's too expensive, then that means the price in their perception is outweighing the value of what you're offering. So if you flip that around and you create an insane amount of value to the point where the imbalance shifts in your favor and value far exceeds price, then price objections are going to disappear. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everybody? So the concepts I'm going to walk you through over the next series of trainings is focusing on how to create more value around your offers so that price will never become an issue again and your product or service is no longer a commodity. Okay. All right. So let's dig in to the training. So let's first start by talking about the 3 levers of business success. Okay. So if you're selling a product or service and you're having trouble making sales, it's not converting for you, there are 3 real components that we can look at to check and see where the issues lie. So for each of these components, you're going to give it a plus, a neutral, or a negative grade, okay? And as long as you have a plus or a neutral grade, you can actually move on to the next component and then move down the line, move down the equation. So the first lever is extremely important. And if you check that and it works out, it looks good, you can move on to the next level or the next component. If that checks out, you continue to the third component. So the first level is going to be your market. So why is this so important? Well, because there are times where you can have markets, you can find markets to where the demand drastically outpaces the supply, okay? So much of that, there's so much of that it doesn't really matter what you're charging, or you don't have to put a lot of effort into persuading people to buy from you because there's so much demand for that product. For example, during COVID, when masks were in such a high demand, if you opened a manufacturing company that supplied masks, you would make a killing because people wanted masks. There wasn't enough supply out there. So if you created that during that time, you would have killed it. Okay. So, but most of us are not going to be in those types of markets. But as long as your market is normal and it's not dying or slowing down, then you're in a good market and you can move on. You can mark that as neutral or positive and then move on to the next component. So once you've confirmed that, get some water here. The next component is going to be, so we got a check mark there. So our next component is going to be our offer. So if you're in a normal market and you have an amazing offer, you probably don't have to be that good at the last component to crush it, persuasion and sales. You've got a great offer, then it's a lot easier to make sales because it's just you can make such a no-brainer offer out of what you're bundling up that people just say yes, okay? Because it's so good, it's so valuable. Now, if you have a really bad offer in a normal market, then you're probably not going to be successful, okay? So if you look at your offer and you're giving it a neutral or a negative, then that might be a place you want to focus on to work on. But if we give it a neutral and we move on to the next phase, you've got a neutral offer, then you're probably going to have to be pretty good at persuasion, okay? So this is where sales comes in, your ability to close deals, to compel somebody to purchase from you, especially if you got high ticket prices and you're doing a phone call close. You got to be really good at that if you've got a mediocre offer in just a normal market. Okay. So but when you get the first 2 components right, you've got the right market, you've got an awesome offer, persuasion becomes a lot easier. And if you're good at persuasion, then you're going to absolutely crush it. Okay. So those are the 3 levers of business success. All right. So let's talk about choosing your market. Now, a lot of people confuse being stuck with figuring out who their audience is as not being able to come up with a good offer, okay? So this is the first step, and if you're not solid on who you serve, it's really difficult to come up with a compelling offer because you don't really understand that core problem that they're trying to solve, okay? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to choose a market to go into, and then we can do market research so that we deeply understand the core problem that we're going to solve for them. And then we can decide the product or service that we're going to utilize or the vehicle that we're going to help them to solve that problem with. And then after that, we can package it into what's called a no-brainer offer, irresistible offer, okay? So now you may or may not already have a market that you're working in. or a niche that you're working in, but I want to discuss a few principles that you need to understand before jumping into any market, okay? So businesses are centered around problems, solving problems. If you can't solve a problem, you're probably not going to have a business. If you think about pretty much any business out there, it's centered around solving problems. So the main goal of your business is to figure out how your product or service will help a unique avatar, okay, unique audience, unique market, solve a very specific problem, the core problem, in a unique way, whatever your unique mechanism, your unique vehicle, and that do it in a way that reverses their biggest objection. So notice the first element of this statement is unique avatar. So who is that unique person that you can help? Okay. And a lot of people struggle with this, believe me. Now, if we think about it, there are three main markets out there. There's health, there's wealth, and there's relationships. Now, these are the three main buckets that almost all products and services out there fit in, if you think about it. So we've got our three core markets that we can kind of decide on which market we want to go in. Now, once you choose the market, within those three markets, you're going to have what are called, there's tons of other sub-markets. So wealth, for instance. So that's really anything that has anything to do with increasing your wealth, increasing your income. It could be investing in stocks, investing in real estate, sales. It could be how to start an online business. Health, so you can help people with strength training. You can help people with losing weight. You can help people with gaining more energy or controlling their hormone levels. You can, in relationships are obviously a great source of joy, but they also bring a lot of pain. So if you can help someone solve relational pain, you can charge a lot of money. Think about marital problems. If you were a therapist or you had some kind of course or coaching program to help people fix their marriage, then you could charge really whatever you want. Also with dating, if people are single and they're really in pain over being single and trying to find their mate, if you can help them solve that problem, they'll pay just about anything. So now we're getting more granular with our target market, our unique avatar. From our earlier statement, more specificity, if you get more specific with your avatar, that equals more value. So this is one of the ways, one of the levers that we're going to increase value is getting more specific with who we're targeting. All right, so we're moving on. So now let's go a little bit deeper. Now within each sub-market, there are tons of little niches that you can actually get into and crush, because you can be kind of the only person in that market or one of the only people in that market that speaks directly to those people, understands their pain on a deep level, and understands how to talk to them about those pains and what the outcome that they want to get. So the key to find a unique niche within the submarkets is one of these three main markets that you can help solve a specific problem. And this is the first way we increase the value of your offer, by showing that you deeply understand those problems and you can articulate those problems. Now, this is an overdone statement, but it's extremely true. The riches are in the niches, okay? Or niches, or however you want to say that. Now, this is a very overused statement, but again, it's true. And here's a little exercise to kind of show you the power of zeroing in on that niche. So let's walk through a little example of this in practice. So let's say you had a generic time management course. It's just generic, right? We're not talking to a specific audience here. So because it's generic and there's no unique avatar, and there's no unique process that it can actually, and so it can only kind of command a minimal price. Let's say $19. So a generic course on time management is going to be $19. Now let's say you take that same course and we just changed the language inside the course. We changed our marketing and we basically changed it to time management for sales professionals. So we're getting a little bit more granular with it. And now it sounds a little bit more interesting. So we can charge a higher price for that because we're more specific with our target audience. So now we're selling this one for $99. And even though we're charging more, the value kind of seems to align with the specificity that we're actually going after a particular unique avatar with this program. So now let's go a little bit deeper and let's talk about time management for B2B sales professionals. Okay, so this one's going to be for $499. And if I'm a outbound sales professional, I'm going to start thinking that, hey, this is speaking directly to me. They understand my pain points. And I know that if I buy this product, I can probably get a return on my investment pretty quickly. It's only $500. So if it really speaks to my pain points and the things that I'm dealing with and suffering through, and tells me it can bring me a certain outcome, I'm willing to purchase that. Okay, and value aligns up. Now let's keep going. Time management for B2B healthcare sales professionals. And I wanted to sell this thing for $2,000. Now it's getting more granular, right? We're talking to online or outbound B2B healthcare sales professionals. And if we can really speak and articulate that we understand those problems and we understand the outcome and the transformation they're trying to achieve, then they'd be willing to exchange that amount of money for our product. So this one's $2,000. So basically, if you look at this, we basically increase the price of our product 100 times by simply niching down, okay? So that is one way that we can start to add value to our offers. And not only can we increase the price here, but sales become a lot easier because you know exactly how to speak to these people in your content, in your ads, in your landing pages, on your VSLs. And the better you can articulate your customer situations, their core problems, and how your solution is going to help them to solve those problems, it's easier to justify that higher price. So your homework is to really think about the three markets that you're in, which of the three markets that you're in, then try to narrow it down your focus to the sub-market within that market, and then finally try to go a little bit deeper to choose that unique avatar. So I'm going to help you with that. Now, maybe you're already in a niche that you're focusing on. If that's you, then awesome. We can move on to the next step, which we'll get into in just a second. But a lot of you watching are struggling with this part. So if you're really struggling with this part and you can't get over that hump, you finally want to nail down your niche, then I've got a few questions that I think or exercise that's going to help you to start to think about that. All right. So who do you serve? So now you understand that the riches are in the niches. Let me know who you guys help. Have you been thinking a little bit too broad with your niche? Drop me a comment below and let me know what unique avatar you guys are dealing with or are solving problems for. I'll wait while you guys kind of drop your niche in there. All right, if you're having trouble narrowing down your niche, if you ask yourself the following 5 questions, I think you're going to start to get a lot more clear on who you actually help. So let's go through these questions real quick. All right, number 1, which of the 3 markets, and more specifically, which sub-markets within those markets am I an expert in? Okay. Or if you don't feel like you're an expert really in anything yet, I doubt that's the case. If you look at over the span of your career, which of these sub-markets are you most interested in? Because you can do what's called, just like I did with the offer creation thing, you can really just dive in and become an expert in something really quick if you really put your mind and energy towards it, okay? So that's the first question. Which of the sub-markets am I an expert in, okay? And of these sub-markets, which one am I most equipped to help people with? Okay, so you've chosen a few sub-markets that you have some expertise in. Which one of those sub-markets are you most equipped to actually help people solve problems in? Okay. Now, once you have the answer to that, of these sub-markets that I'm most equipped to help people with, which am I most passionate about? Okay, because passion is going to come into the equation at some point. When you're busting your ass, you're creating a ton of content, and you're feeling like you might get burned out, then that passion's what's going to push you through to the next level. Okay, so passion's pretty important. All right, so the 4th question. Now that you know what you're passionate about, what sub-markets you're passionate about, which ones you're most equipped to help people with, what laser-focused aspects of this sub-market are you an expert in? Okay. So this is where you start to zero in on that niche. What are the laser focused things of that sub-market that you can really focus in on help people with? And then finally, number 5, of these niches, which one of the niches that you just chose, the laser focused aspects of those sub-markets, which one of these are you most equipped to help with? Okay. So this will give you the niche that you need to focus on for your offer. So did you guys come up with anything doing that exercise? Were you able to narrow down your niche? Drop a comment and let me know if that helped. Let's move on to visualization. So here's a quick image to kind of help you visualize this. So you've got your three main markets on the left. You've got health, wealth, and relationships. And let's just say, hey, I'm in the wealth niche, okay, or the wealth market. And the things that I can help people with, that I'm equipped to help people with, are the marketing, real estate, and sales. Again, these are the three sub-markets that I feel like I'm equipped to help people with. And out of those, I'm most equipped to help people with marketing. This is not my perfect example, but I'm definitely most equipped to help people with marketing. So then we're going to ask ourselves, okay, what aspects or laser focused aspects of marketing can I really help people with? And these are not my examples. I'm going to tell you my example coming up. But finally, I'll make a list of all those, and then I'll choose the one that I'm most equipped to help people with. And that's how you're going to end up choosing your niche, and you can finally get past this one single hurdle. All right. So I'm going to give you my example, and I'm going to look through my business through the lens of the statement that we talked about earlier. I help a unique avatar solve a specific problem in a unique way that reverses their biggest objection. So again, I've been in the digital marketing world for about 12 years now. Got a lot of experience over that time. I help people make money online. That is what I do, okay? And so that puts me into the wealth market. Now, what are the sub-markets I have knowledge and experience in and motivation around that I'm interested in sharing and teaching people, okay? Or if I'm doing an agency, and what services am I equipped to actually provide to people? So over the past 12 years, I've really, marketing is my sub niche. Again, that's the kind of the sub market, and that's the most qualified that I feel I can help people with. So then I start brainstorming, okay, what are the laser focused areas or problems that I can solve in this sub market? And that's going to be my niches. Okay. So I'll list all those out. So for me, it was really difficult because I had all these different skills that I'd learned over the years, and I was pretty good at a lot of them. So I'd sit down and think about all of the things that I'm good at and all of the things that I'm passionate about. And I came up with, well, I've grown 4 separate businesses purely through organic strategy. So I've gotten pretty good at that. Okay. 3 of those businesses were agencies. Okay. So I know how to acquire and fulfill for clients in the agency world. And I've gotten over that time, I've gotten really good, in my opinion, at high level, which is a CRM system. I'd say I'm very good at creating processes and automations if you follow any of my stuff. And I've been recruiting and training virtual assistants for about 3 years now, purely on prospecting and appointment setting. So I kind of take all those things, and I've run ads in the past, but I don't feel as equipped in that area as I do some of these other areas. So now I sit down and I look at these niches, and all these skills are kind of pointing me towards a certain thing. So I landed on agencies and coaches. Those are my unique avatar. I could go a little bit deeper if I wanted to, maybe real estate coaches or business coaches or something like that. But I choose to stay a little bit more broad, but it's still a niche. It's not as much of a micro niche, and I might go into some micro niches at some point. But and then coaches and agencies have a very similar way that they go about acquiring clients, very similar systems, very similar funnels. And so that is the core problem that I solve, helping agencies and coaches acquire clients. So I do this and this is my unique mechanism, I do this by helping them fill their calendars with high quality sales calls without spending money on ads. A lot of people are getting started. They don't have the money to spend money on ads, and without cold messaging strangers. So these are the biggest objections. Okay. And then using my unique mechanism that I call authority acceleration. So that's my unique mechanism. So that is how I plug my business into this statement, if that makes sense. All right. Quick temperature check. Is this helpful? If this is helpful, drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know if this is helping you guys at all, or if I'm just wasting my time. All right. So Now that you know who you serve, how do you determine if the market that you're going into is a viable market? Okay. So let's talk about the 4 variables of that make up a viable market. So number 1 is going to be the market you're targeting has to be in some sort of pain. Remember, businesses are built on solving problems. So they need to be in pain or have like a desperate need that your product or service can actually solve. So people, again, buy to solve problems and eliminate pain. And if you can do that for them, then you can charge high prices, okay? And think about relationship coaches. Again, we talked about this earlier, but if you could help your client avoid getting a divorce, very expensive divorce, you could tie money to that. And also just the pain and agony of losing a divorce, the effect it has on your children. If you were a coach and you could help solve that problem, wouldn't you imagine you can charge high prices for that? I believe you could. So how about an example from the wealth market? How much would someone pay if they were barely scraping by and they were convinced that I could help them make $100,000 in the next year, in the next 12 months? How valuable would that be? Would it be worth $5,000 if I knew that I would get a return on investment of $95,000? Yep, be worth it to me. How about 10,000? How about 20,000? Probably a lot, right? If you felt very confident that they could help you to do that. So ask yourself, does your market have a major pain point that you can help solve? Okay, so that's number 1. That's the first variable. Number 2, the second thing that you're going to look at is, do they have purchasing power? Can they pay for what you're offering? Now, most people are able to find the money if they're desperate enough to solve a problem, but you don't want to go into markets that don't have any money. That's just not good business. So make sure that they can pay your price for what you're offering. Third, they must be easy to target. So can you reach them online or offline if that's your business? Do they have what I call a watering hole where they hang out that you can actually go and you reach them with some sort of paid ad or organic strategy? Associations, ads, social media, email, content. Are you able to reach these people somehow? Can you get a list of people? So you need to know where you're going to be targeting. Is your market on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Is it on LinkedIn? Do they constantly watch YouTube? Do I need to go to YouTube? Can you get their phone number or email data from different data sources? So you must be able to charge them, okay, or reach them. And then number 4 is it a growing market? Now, if it's growing, that's ideal, but as long as it's not shrinking or dying, you're good, okay? So those are the 4 filters that you need to run once you figure out your niche. These are the 4 filters that you need to run that niche through to make sure that you've got a viable market before you go into it. Okay, so now you've narrowed down your market and you know who you're going to be helping. You've determined if it's a viable market. Now, what do you do next? Well, I'm going to give you the easy button for doing market research. This is going to be a shortcut that's going to help you to build a deep understanding of your target audience without having to spend all the time, taking surveys or all this stuff. Okay, so let's dig in on the shortcut to market research. Now, I'm sure most of you out there that are watching this are familiar with funnel hacking, but just in case, funnel hacking is the process of strategically investigating the sales and marketing process of your competitors, which you can use to model, don't copy, model and test within your own sales and marketing, okay? So the quickest way to learn your market is to take your top 5 to 10 competitors who solve the same core problem that you solve in the niche that you're working in, and then funnel hack them, okay? Now, if you think about it, a funnel is just a series of offers. Your ad's an offer, your lead magnet's an offer, if you do like a tripwire type offer, that's an offer. Your high ticket course or coaching program is an offer. So it's just a series of offers. So we're going to go through their funnel and we're going to look at every section of their funnel, every ad, every page, every video through a lens of, this comes from Russell Brunson, hook, story, offer. So what hooks are they using in their ads, in their landing pages, in their videos? What stories are they telling? What are the pain points, the core problems that they're focusing on? Who are the enemies that they're throwing rocks at, or the alternative methods that they're throwing rocks at? And what offers are they making at each stage of the funnel, okay? So let's go through some of this. So step one is to find their ads. So if you don't know how to do this, you can go to any page on Facebook, and you can go to their page. And if you scroll down on the left-hand side, you can see page transparency. And if you click into that, you can see all the ads that particular page is currently running. And then you kind of analyze based on hook, story, offer. And you want to know what headlines they're using. You want to know what images they're using, what hooks, what bullet points, what core problem are they focusing on again, and what's the offer they are making to get you to click on to the landing page, okay? So that's the first step of the funnel hack. Now, we're going to click through to their landing page. So you're going to go through their funnels. You're going to read their emails. You're going to, again, take note of headlines, subject lines, bullet points, customer pain points. And again, think through that lens of hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer. What's the big promise or outcome that they're making? That's another thing you want to look at. And a great way to get a lot of information is to watch their VSL letters, because in those VSL letters, what you'll typically see, and if you didn't know this method or this framework, you're going to start noticing this a lot in people's webinars. So people will take the old methods that they're saying don't work. For me, it's ads, and cold messaging strangers. I throw a lot of rocks at running ads and cold messaging strangers, because that is my new method, is a different vehicle, and I want people to focus on that. So watch their video sales letter. Watch what old methods they're throwing rocks at. Listen to the powerful language that they're using, the quotes and phrases that kind of grab your attention. Make note of all that stuff. This is a ton of great information. So then think about what's the unique mechanism that they're actually promoting. Okay, what's their unique mechanism? And then what types of emails are they sending you? What the subject lines? Are they long? Are they short? What are those types of emails? You can have like a whole swipe file. Just create a separate email address just for your funnel hacking, and then make sure you sign up for through all the funnels with that particular email address. Next thing you want to do, jump on, if it's a high ticket program and you have to buy through a phone call, then jump on their phone call, jump on the sales call with them, write down what's included in their offer. The price point, the deliverables, the payment terms, the bonuses, the guarantees, all of the information and how they package that offer. Write all that stuff down, take note of it, and make sure you understand what's out there in the market that you're competing with, so you can create something that's far more superior to that. So remember, again, the goal is to create something that's far superior to what your competitors are currently offering. So take note of all that. If it's not a sales call, if it's a webinar, make sure that you take note of the offer stack that they're presenting to you. That's going to give you a ton of information on what they think is valuable to this target audience. All right. So we've done the funnel hacking. You've taken tons of notes. So what specifically do you want to know about your audience? What are you trying to figure out about your audience? What's the important pieces that we're trying to put together? So the first thing is, who are they? So their demographics, this is basic information: age, sex, location, job title, if all that's relevant. Also, you want to know psychographics. So what are they interested in? What are their hobbies, their beliefs, their motivations? Okay. What is their current situation? This is an important one, because where someone is now, what is that triggering event that got them to actually start searching for a solution? What is that current situation that's causing them so much pain that they have to find a solution for it? And then we know where they don't want to be, and why they're searching. So that's their current situation. And then we want to know where they do want to be. What's that desired outcome, that desired transformation that they're looking for and they're trying to achieve, okay? And when we understand that, once you understand that, where their current situation is and what their desired outcome is, your product or service becomes the bridge that fills that gap from where they are now to where they want to be, okay? And your offer is how you're going to package that product or service to increase the perceived value. And we're going to show you how to do that on next week's training. But that is the basic idea. We want to understand where they are now, where they want to go, and then we'll build a product around that, and then we'll package it into a compelling, irresistible offer. So what obstacles, okay, so I missed one here, but okay, so the desired outcome. And then what obstacles or challenges are keeping them from reaching their desired outcome? This is going to help you to start to think about, your copy, what you're going to talk about, when in your videos, when you're presenting this offer. This is going to help you to understand, what's holding them back. What have they tried in the past to fix the problem that didn't work? And again, these are the old methods, the enemies that we can throw rocks at and start to, show them that this is not a great option. This method's not working. You don't like doing it. It's one of your, biggest pain points. This new method is going to change everything. This is the new method that's going to solve your problems for good. Okay. So understanding how they've tried to fix the problem and what didn't work in the past will help us to understand what enemies we're going to throw rocks at. Okay. And then finally, what are the limiting beliefs or objections, both internal and external, real or imagined, that are keeping them from being successful? So knowing this is going to give you ammo for us to create features around and bonuses around that we can bundle together to reverse these objections and actually make them disappear. So understanding the negative internal conflicts or beliefs or limiting beliefs that they're having and the conversations they're having to themselves that tell them that they can't do this, we can create features that will help to reverse those objections. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Now, just to recap, and just to summarize today, you learned that choosing and deeply understanding your market is the first key to creating insanely profitable offers. You also learned that the riches are in the niches and how to identify your niche that you're most equipped to help people with. And then finally, you learned a shortcut to do market research so you can get that deeper understanding that you're going to need to create and package your product or service in an offer that's going to get them to take action. Okay. So, and offers are just a small piece of our coaching program and what we teach in the Facebook group, where we focus on agency owners and coaches and helping them fill their calendars again with high quality sales calls by using what we call authority acceleration. So if you'd like some help finding some clarity on your offer, or what to do after you've got your offer nailed, and so you can stop chasing your prospects down and have them start chasing you, and start filling your calendar with people that actually want to jump on a call with you and are 90% sold before they even talk to you. So if you're interested in learning how we do that, then you can book a one-on-one game plan call at gohighticketnow.com/talk. That's gohighticketnow.com/talk. On that call, we're going to discuss where you are now, where you want to go, and then we're going to give you some very clear steps on how you can get there. Okay, so go ahead and book that call if you're interested in that, or you can drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll reach out to you to book that call. With that being said, next week, this was the first part of the offer creation, but our next training, I think you're going to really like. And so what we've got in store for you next, on the next training, we're going to give you a simple formula that's going to help you to make offers that are almost impossible to turn down. We're going to help you to create value out of thin air using this simple formula. So be sure to comment, tag me below or series, and I'll make sure that you get notified every time we go live on this offer creation series. And then with that, any questions? I'll sit here and take some questions if you got some questions, guys. And take some water while you're thinking about it. Let's see. Okay. Got some people saying tag me. Awesome. Glad you guys liked it. Let's see. Any questions? Going once. Going twice. Any questions? All right. Looks like there's no questions. Okay. Do you help recruiting closers or provide closing services? I do not. I can help you with a virtual assistant. That's one of our offerings, but we don't do closers. If you are interested, you can reach out to me and I can suggest somebody. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, then we'll call it a day. Thank y'all so much, seriously, for being here. It really means a lot to me that you'd spend your day with me or your hour with me. So I really appreciate it. Again, if you are watching the replay later on, let me know by typing in replay in the comments. And if you want me to make sure that you get tagged in this series, then drop a tag me or series in there. And then finally, if you're watching on one of the other channels and you're not in our Facebook group yet, then if you're interested in joining that group, say group in the comments and I'll make sure you get an invite. So thank y'all so much again for joining us. I hope that was valuable to you guys. And again, if you have any questions around offer creation, you can also drop those in the comments below, and then I'll try to answer those as they come up. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much again, and we will see you next time. Peace.